her videos. It was chaos. It was very much like they're trying to make the Grammys and have a little club moment.
Yeah. Did it work for you?
I am a huge Charlie fan, so I'm happy to see it, even though I'm like, that is a funny venue for what Charlie does.
We've been talking to Jill Mapes, one of the founders and editors of the independent music publication Hearing Things. Jill, thanks so much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And you're listening to Here and Now.
Saturdays are great. Ira Glass and his show, I love to listen to that. And then, Wait, Don't Tell Me. My name is John Ringland. I've donated 2 vehicles to public radio, a Ford Expedition and a Pontiac Bonneville. They were tools that we used to get around, and they served a purpose, and the last thing that we could do with them that was good was give them to public radio.
For more information, go to our website, radioiq.org. Microbiologist Ann Madden says when you touch your face, you are touching much more than just your skin.
We are an ecosystem, and so you're actually feeling over 100 billion bacterial cells on your face.
From microbes to language to kindergartners. Ideas about the small but mighty. Next time on the TED Radio Hour from NPR. Tuesdays at 8 and Saturdays at 2 on Radio IQ.
Funding for Here and Now comes from the listeners of WBUR Boston, where the program is produced, and your NPR station, and Rhodes Scholar, celebrating 50 years of transformative learning adventures for adults in over 100 countries. Learn more at rhodesscholar.org/explore. And BetterHelp, committed to helping clients with issues ranging from relationship challenges and goal setting to grief and depression. Learn more at betterhelp.com/public.
It's Here and Now. How should Democrats respond to President Trump? Or when should they respond? Trump's executive orders and controversial claims come in like a tennis ball machine gone haywire. There's Trump's ban on the constitutionally guaranteed birthright citizenship. He and Elon Musk have put the agency USAID on life support, which immediately took recipients of that aid around the world off life support. There's Elon Musk's access to Americans' checks from the Treasury Department. Claims based on nothing that diversity and inclusion somehow caused that terrible copter plane crash. The Democratic Party picked its new chair over the weekend. It's Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party Chair Ken Martin. He was not the favorite choice of leaders like Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. Here's a little of his acceptance speech.
We have to ignore the noise. We have to focus with intensity on the goal ahead, which is winning elections to improve people's lives.
Let's bring in Democratic strategist Bill Press. Bill, welcome.
Hello, Robin. Good to join you.
Well, nice to speak with you. And your plate is full. Look, you supported Wisconsin's Ben Wickler. Was there a big divide in this vote for people not following this? We have 2 white males from the Midwest. I mean, why did Martin win?
Well, Martin won because, first of all, there was not a big difference between the 2 of them. I thought the difference was one's an insider, consummate insider, Ken Martin, who's been on the DNC for, 100 years. Not that many, but maybe 30, right? Versus Ben Wickler, who's younger, also a state party chair. He from Wisconsin, Ken Martin from Minnesota. So I thought the outsider, Ben Wickler, had a better chance of kind of shaking things up, which I think the party needs. You know, look, Ken Martin's a good man. He's done a good job in Minnesota, building the party there. I think he will do a good job nationwide, building the party. But I think it's important to realize, and then get to your second point, right, that what his job is building the infrastructure for the party, building the foundation, as he did in Minnesota, in every state, in every congressional district, where they got the volunteers, they got the money, they got the voter list, and they're in season and out of season. They're ready to go when the candidates need it at election time. They don't wait until election time. They build that strong party. That's his job. But his job, Ken Martin's job again, is not to be the spokesperson, not to be the
Right.
leader of the Democratic Party.
You
That's
shouldn't
gotta
be hearing from him right now, right?
Well, when he wins, fine. We hear
Right.
from him. Then otherwise, get your job, get your work done,
Right.
and let the leaders of the party speak. I think the problem, as you point out, is that the Democratic Party today is kind of rudderless, right? I mean, who is the leader of the Democratic Party today? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let's stick them with the DNC chair because, people are begging someone and maybe they think it's him as you said, his job, lay the groundwork to win, midterms, And,
Exactly.
And should he be doing any soul searching, for instance, about some of the things Republicans are accusing Democrats of? Did they abandon the blue collar working class? Did they get too woke and maybe pay more attention to slices of the electorate? Or not react fiercely enough when issues like DEI and gender were weaponized and lied about? I mean, is this something he has to think about?
Well, first of all, I think the idea of doing an analysis, a good soul searching, a good objective look at what happened in 2024 when everybody thought Kamala Harris, including me, was going to win is very, very important. There are lessons to be learned from that. That's partly his job. But to the second part of the job, I think that's got to be leaders of the party. And I believe
Everybody good? All good? All right. Good afternoon and welcome to our 2 o'clock p.m. session for the Roanoke City Council on February 3rd. I'll ask our clerk, Ms. McCoy, to please call the roll.
Vice Mayor McGuire.
Here.
Mr. Nash.
Here.
Mr. Volleson.
Here.
Mr. Hagan.
Here.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones.
Here.
And Mayor Cobb.
Here, and we are all present. Our invocation this afternoon will be delivered by the Reverend Susan Bentley, chaplain at Carilion Roanoke Memorial Hospital, and then following the invocation, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand? Reverend Bentley, just come right over here. Thank you. Welcome.
Let us pray. Gracious God, you've given us a vision of your heavenly city to be our guide in leadership. Behold and visit, we pray, the cities of this earth, especially Roanoke and their city council members and all citizens. Renew the ties of mutual regard which form our civic life. Empower city council to be honest and able leaders. Enable them to eliminate the systems that result in poverty, prejudice, and oppression, that peace may prevail with righteousness and justice, with order, and that men, women, and children of different cultures and with differing talents may find with one another the fulfillment of their humanity. Give those in authority in our city government wisdom and strength to know and do your will. Fill them with the love of truth, morality, and compassion, and make them ever mindful of their calling to serve the people of this city for the greatest good of all. We pray in your holy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just make a note for the public if they're following along on the agenda. Since council is going to again recess into the same closed meeting after this meeting, if we could kindly move the certification of the closed meeting to the end of this meeting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, welcome to everybody. Thank you for turning out this afternoon. We have a couple of announcements to share. This morning, we interviewed 3 applicants for the position of the vacancy of my term, unexpired term, ending December 31st, 2026. Those were available through Facebook live stream as well as RVTV. And I know that many of you are here today to speak on behalf of some of those applicants, and we welcome you and look forward to hearing what you have to share. The City Clerk's Office is accepting applications for 2 upcoming vacancies on the Roanoke City School Board for 3-year terms of office, each expiring on June 30th, 2025. The new 3-year terms of office will commence July 1st of this year and end on June 30th of 2028. Incumbent school board trustees are Mary Franny Apel and Joyce W. Watkins. Application and information describing the duties and responsibilities of trustees of the Roanoke City School Board are available on the City of Roanoke's webpage at roanokeva.gov, or may be obtained by contacting the City Clerk's Office, which is just down this hall, room 456 in the Noel C. Taylor Municipal Building, 215 Church Avenue Southwest, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. The deadline to receive applications is Monday, March 10th, 2025 at 5 o'clock p.m. For questions or additional information, you can please contact the City Clerk's Office at 540-853-2541. We move on now to our presentations and acknowledgements, and I'm going to turn to our city manager, Ms. Val-Marie Turner, for recognition of Battalion Chief Shannon and Lieutenant Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor Cobb. Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, and members of council, I am honored to be able to recognize Battalion Chief Shannon and Lieutenant Thompson. Can I ask them to come up, please? As well as Chief Hoback and Deputy Chief Crawley. In the early hours of January 18th, at approximately 1:30 a.m., the Roanoke Police Department received a call for assistance when a bus carrying passengers unexpectedly stopped in Roanoke. Officers were informed that the bus actually stopped at noon, January 17th, leaving the passengers stranded for approximately 24 hours before continuing their journey. Without hesitation, Battalion Chief of Emergency Management Trevor Shannon and Lieutenant Mike Thompson stepped in to take charge of the situation, demonstrating leadership, compassion, and quick thinking. Chief Shannon and Lieutenant Thompson worked tirelessly to ensure the stranded passengers were cared for. They organized a safe and warm space to provide at the police department where travelers could rest and coordinate efforts to provide food, blankets, and cots. They worked together to ensure all passengers were able to retrieve their belongings from the bus and conducted transport to the police department. Through their resourcefulness, partnerships with American Red Cross, Mission Barbecue, and Starbucks, they activated supply meals and other necessities. Additionally, Lieutenant Thompson reached out to the appropriate transportation contacts to arrange for the travelers to continue their journey. Thanks to their dedication and collaboration, the passengers were able to resume their travels around noon the same day as the call for service. This act of kindness and professionalism is the testament to the values of public service in the city of Roanoke and the unwavering commitment to service to our community. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Chief Shannon and Lieutenant Thompson for ensuring the safety and well-being of these travelers during an unexpected, challenging time. And if you allow me, I just wanted to add, this was like the first call that I received, and I was able to work with Mr. Shannon, and just being able to call Greyhound, he reached out, I mean, we called everyone, and he was able to reach out, and we found someone in Tennessee, right? All the way in Tennessee to kind of help us to make sure that we can get a bus here. And he didn't stop, neither one of them stopped until they did just that. And so I personally want to thank you for your diligence and your commitment. I appreciate it.
Forgot the drill.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, members of council, City Manager Turner. I'm Deputy Chief Mike Crawley, and I just want to say a couple of words regarding the time you took to acknowledge Chief Shannon and Lieutenant Thompson. I know Chief Hoback will cover Chief Shannon, but Mike Thompson I've known for a while, and he was just recently promoted to lieutenant in September of this year, and he exemplifies service-oriented policing, right? When you talk about community policing, all of the things academically that come along with being a police officer. He's a public servant, and I couldn't be more proud that he's a representative of the City of Roanoke Police Department, but not only as a native of Roanoke City. So again, thank you for taking time to make this announcement.
Excuse me, my voice is back gone. But I too want to just extend my appreciation for your acknowledgement of what Chief Shannon and what Lieutenant Thompson did that day. We had a fire that morning. I think it was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and Trevor was out, and it was kind of unusual for him to be out that quick. But we had some things going on that morning. It was a very busy morning for us. But then he informed me about what was going on down, and I heard about what was going on. I read the news article on Channel 7 that we had people stranded, but I thought they had already been taken care of and on the way. I will tell you, these two gentlemen really stepped up, and when I got to the community room at the police department at 7:30 or something like that, after being stranded from the night before and being up all night, those passengers were very appreciative and in good spirits, and they weren't angry. And what the main thing here is that Roanoke is not a bad place now. They really appreciated everything that we did for them, and now that they went on the way to, we're going to Nashville, I think that was their end stop. But the end goal was that, bad things happen, but if we can step up and ease the pain a little bit, that's what makes the difference, and that's what these two gentlemen did. They eased the pain of a very bad situation, tried to do their best to step in and make things work, and I couldn't be more proud of either one of them, so thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you both again, and congratulations, and thank you so much for your responsiveness. That is a wonderful reflection of our city and our community safety officials, so again, thank you. Next, we are moving on to our hearing of citizens upon public matters. I know we've had a lot of people sign up to speak today, so I just want to add that some of you are here to speak regarding the public hearing in reference to the vacancy on the school board. That will happen later. So if you're signed up to speak for that matter, please make sure we'll invite you up during the public hearing for that. There are also, I understand, several of you here to speak to one of our action items, I believe with the Virginia Museum of Transportation, and we will invite you up to speak on that matter. So this will be for any other citizens on any variety of topics. And I'm going to ask our clerk to call you 2 by 2. And so when your name is called, just come up to the microphone here. You'll each have 3 minutes to share whatever you'd like with us. And again, we thank you for coming out today and for being here and participating in this process. So Madam Clerk, I'll ask you to call the first 2 names, please.
Please forgive me, but I'm not really sure how to pronounce this one. Arca Ortez Ralph. All right. And the second speaker following her will be Barbara Dirk.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Ayer Cortez. I'm relative new to the city. The concern that I have first is how I get information about the ordinances that you do, how the public is notified in general, and how we can vote for them, and what is the argument or base or support that make that this council make this ordinance, because I think that the ordinance need to benefit the public in general, and we need to address the vote of the public to know if really this matter and change their life when you do an ordinance. how it's going to change and how it's going to affect their life, like regular citizen, because I'm a regular worker. I'm not a person that have too much to say about it. Because I have a concern about one information that I try to get from one situation in the parking, and after that, when I go out, I have 2 different patrols following me that I don't understand why. When I get out of the parking over here. One was with camouflage and the other was with 911. The other thing that I want to address, because I want to be short to the point, is about the school curriculum. How we're going to teach and educate our future generations to support our values like a Christian nation. Because I think that right now we have a lack of this in our schools. And we need to address something that is going to be useful for our future generation. For example, bilinguals. We don't need to be hiding because we live to enter to this country so many different cultures that now we don't know how, we are not multicultural, we don't have multicultural relations with them, so we don't understand their values, we don't understand other things. We need to address this since we are leaders. And the last thing is about the homeless situation all over the place. I'm talking about country, Botetor, all the places. And I have a question. How they can be using technology whole day in the libraries, or how they have an ability and it can be used to reinsert them in the community. We can continue having that. And how we are creating jobs for them, that will be all. And so they have studies, they have marriage, and they are human beings. They need to be addressed because they are part of our community.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. I do have one follow-up question for you. No, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. It was on your first question about an ordinance and how to get information. Were you referring to a specific ordinance that you had a question about?
Yes, it's because I have a sign that said 2 hours parking, and after that I've been charged for another thing that wasn't there in the sign. Thank you.
Thank you. So in general, we refer matters to our city manager. We have your contact information, so we will follow up with you on the issues that you raised today to make sure we help get those resolved. Okay? Thank you. Ms. Dirk, welcome.
Thank you, sir. First, I want to give a shout out to the police for dealing with that bus drop-off. I have seen long-distance bus carriers drop off people at the corner of 3rd, and it's absolutely horrible because the people don't know what to do. They don't know where to call. But I am here today to talk about the power of one. The power of one. You didn't get there by yourself on City Council. Roanoke City residents elected in November Mayor Cobb and elected you as members of City Council. I presented each one of you a keys to the city, and hopefully you have already started to use it. The key opens doors to opportunities to learn how the city works and how you can make it work better for the citizens. You individually are a power of one. Collectively, as City Council, you're a bigger one. That I encourage you to work with the neighborhoods, the businesses, and government, so you can even be a bigger one. The General Assembly is in session. I have been to the General Assembly several times, and in the Capitol Bookstore, they have a book, and it's called Local Politics Matters. I purchased the book to see if I could find out why during the election in November there were 2,000 less voters for a city manager than there was for a president. I asked several people locally why they thought that happened. Well, we didn't know who to vote for. Well, we hadn't heard about the candidates. My response was, really? Well, evidently not everyone gets the same news I do or attended the neighborhood candidate forums. And then but I care. And some of the people said, well, what does it matter to me? There is a chapter in here that says, why should I care about local politics? The people in the neighborhoods are interested in local politics. And they heard at the candidate forums, Hagan and McGuire and Cobb and Nash talk about issues. Evelyn Powers was a candidate for city council too. And so she had interaction with the neighborhoods at city council candidate forums, and she knows what the people think and knows how to listen and knows how to accomplish skills. I see the skills that you bring to city council. I see some of you are a lawyer, an environmentalist, urban planner, community comforter, school counselor, and a nonprofit human resource officer. What I see council needing is someone who understands budgets, investments, bonds, government finance, to allow the city to provide the best service, tax rates to keep people and business in Roanoke. I see someone who can take this key, open doors, and work with you and the city manager to make Roanoke the best possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Turk.
Karen Farrell and David Harrison.
Welcome, Ms. Farrell.
Hello, my name is Karen Farrell, and I am a city resident. I've been a resident for 32 years. I'm here today to support Evelyn Powers to fill the vacant city council seat. Ms. Powers has proven her dedication and value to the city as a long-term employee and as the elected city treasurer for 20 years. She brings with her financial and budgetary expertise. She supports local businesses and understands their value to our economy and community, and her commitment to ensuring they have the resources they need to thrive and grow is exactly what we need. She already received 13,732 votes as the fourth highest number in the November election. She's the most logical choice to fill this open seat. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, I'm David Harrison. I live at 5305 Medmont Circle, Southwest. I support the candidacy of Evelyn Powers and ask you to vote for her for the vacant seat on council. Just as a corporate board should have members with a diversity of experience and skills, so should the governing body of a city. The financial management and budgeting expertise Ms. Powers has gained from her years as experience as city treasurer will be a tremendous benefit to the city. I suggest other members of council will also benefit from her financial skill, and that decisions among council members will be better informed with her on council. Ms. Powers is also known for not only listening, but importantly also for asking questions when the rationale for a proposal is not supported by facts and data. The previous council, including one of the current applicants who wants to get back on council, voted to request that the General Assembly repeal many of the George Floyd police reforms that were enacted in 2020 and reinstitute, for example, a broken taillight being a primary offense. That is the quintessential example of making driving while black a criminal offense. It was reported that the previous council approved the legislative package with no discussion. That decision led to mass resignations by people, including me, who were on the Trust Subcommittee of the Equity and Empowerment Advisory Board. The previous council then turned around and tried to justify eliminating residential single-family zoning with a race argument, ignoring the fact that the Fair Housing Act has been the law of the land for 60 years, and ignoring the fact that Roanoke already has a Fair Housing Board to help citizens know their rights. These kinds of trust-destroying inconsistencies that occur when council makes ad hoc decisions that are not supported by facts and data Evan Powers will ask questions to assure council has a factual basis for his decisions, which is necessary if council is to regain the trust of citizens that has been lost. The citizens of Roanoke need her, but I suggest so do other members of council. I ask that you vote for Evelyn Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison.
David Howell, Anthony Stavola.
Looks
Welcome.
like I'm going first. My name is David Howell, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'm here to speak on behalf of Rabbi Kathy Cohen for the open position on City Council. I first met Kathy 25 years ago. I was teaching a class at Roanoke College on the Holocaust, and she followed up with a class in the spring, Judaism after the Holocaust. That began a friendship and a long collaboration where we did a number of projects together on interfaith cooperation and dialogue. When we co-led experiences at the temple and my church, Second Presbyterian Church, quickly discovered that the people at the church didn't want to hear me talk, they wanted to hear Kathy. And I understand. I mean, she's a wonderful communicator, warm and friendly, always seeking to reach out and build bridges. And those are characteristics that I think that she would bring to council as well. She's been very involved in a variety of organizations in council. And my experience with Kathy is that perhaps better than anyone I know, she embodies the Jewish virtue of tikkun olam, to mend or repair the world. Strong commitment to social justice, to make the world a better place. People that don't have voices, she seeks to give them voices. And this is through some of the work I know she's done through Family Promise, through the Roanoke Gun Violence Commission, through other organizations like, and just volunteer work, like reading to children in the public schools. Kathy shows up. She doesn't have as much immediate experience in government as our other two candidates do that you're considering, but she shows up not because it's part of her job, but she shows up because she thinks it's important to the community, and she wants to help and serve the community that she's been a part of for so long. And if you elect her and appoint her to the open vacancy, she will show up, she will build bridges, she will listen. I commend her to you.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Welcome, Mr. Stavola.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Cobb and members of council, city manager. Little green sticker kind of gives away the topic, and you'll notice there are a lot of other green stickers here today. I'm speaking on behalf of Evelyn Powers. I did this once before, and I'm not going to repeat it all over again. I trust you all do not have that short a memory. But I do want to talk about the fact that this decision that you will make is one of the first major decisions you all will face as members of this council. During the campaign and election, there were some vigorous discussions, and there were some themes that came through. Those included openness, transparency, engagement, and one that you were very big on, Mayor Cobb, which was showing up. Evelyn participated in these discussions along with you and demonstrated her commitment to those ideas and received the endorsement of almost 14,000 Roanoke citizens, which would have earned her the council seat if it was open at the time. Now, you've got 3 finalists that you've selected. Undoubtedly, you feel that each of them has qualities that warrant their consideration. Certainly, Evelyn has the experience, knowledge, and commitment, and she demonstrated by her willingness to participate in the election and put her case to the voters. For whatever their reasons, the other 2 finalists did not do the same, and that deprived the citizens of the city a chance to make a decision as to who should be seated on city council. At a previous council meeting, former Mayor Lee spoke highly and at some length about Trish White Boyd, and I listened carefully to his remarks, waiting to hear if he would mention Evelyn. After all, he'd previously given her a strong endorsement, worked with her for many years, and even violated the rules of his own party in endorsing her over another duly nominated Democrat. Yet there was no mention of Evelyn. It was as if those remarks were never said, but we all know they were. And she had other endorsements from members of council. I have been blessed to have a wonderful career in this community as a family physician to many patients. And in that over 40 years that I cared for patients, what I've learned is that all the knowledge, all the training, all the diplomas on the wall are not enough if I did not earn the trust of my patients. Without that trust, I could not provide good care. You all have been entrusted with the care of this city, and to be effective, trust is essential. And once lost, it's hard to rebuild. This council has an opportunity to begin establishing that trust by acknowledging that Evelyn, in light of her knowledge, experience, and the endorsement of thousands upon thousands of Roanoke citizens, has earned the right to take her place alongside you. Please don't squander that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie Clifton, Marissa Yee.
Welcome, Ms. Clifton.
Hi. Good afternoon, esteemed members of the Roanoke City Council. My name is Katie Clifton. I'm a resident of Old Southwest, a commercial property owner in the city, and the director of a small nonprofit organization. And I want to say first how lucky our city is to have such good candidates up for this seat. But today I stand here before you to express my unwavering support for Council Member Trish White-Boyd. In her nearly 5 years of service on the Roanoke City Council, including 2 years as Vice Mayor, Trish has consistently demonstrated a deep commitment to our community. As a small business owner herself, Trish understands the challenges we face. She's been instrumental in creating jobs and strengthening our local economy. Trish's leadership was pivotal in the redevelopment of the American Viscose plant, a project that not only will revitalize a significant area, but it also promises substantial revenue for our city. Furthermore, her advocacy for affordable housing led to the approval of a major apartment complex in Northeast Roanoke. With the appointment of our new city manager, it is crucial to have experienced and dedicated leaders like Trish to guide our city forward. Her broad perspective on issues and her tenacity in addressing them make her an invaluable asset. I urge you to continue supporting Council Member Trish White-Boyd, whose approachable nature and proven track record exemplify the leadership Roanoke needs. Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome, Miss Yee.
My name is Marissa Yee. I've lived in Roanoke since 2012, and as a queer person of color, moving to a pretty segregated city from a more diverse area was challenging. As an active nonprofit volunteer and advocate myself in the community, I witnessed firsthand Patricia White-Boyd participating, supporting, and working with all the different communities and local businesses, bringing us together and striving for diversity. I have seen no candidate with the experience and proven dedication that is offered by Patricia White-Boyd. Her care for every neighborhood and community in the city of Roanoke is evident in her years of service and the accomplishments she has completed. There is no candidate with the proven dedication offered by Patricia White-Boyd. Her care for every community in the city of Roanoke is evident in her years of service. Please vote for experience and leadership and advocacy. Vote for Trish White-Boyd for City Council for the city of Roanoke.
Thank you very much.
Kristen Sajelki and Bridget Kelly Deering.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Kristen Segel-Kay and a resident of Roanoke City. I'm speaking so that I can thank our newly retired city treasurer, Evelyn Powers. She was with the treasurer's office for 43 years and head of the treasurer's office for 20 of those. Thank you, Evelyn Powers, for your devotion and dedicated dedication to the city you love, Roanoke, Virginia. Thank you, Evelyn, for being willing to protect, educate, and care for the citizens of Roanoke City by running for the City Council in November of 2024. Thank you for your great campaign. You listened to your constituents. You ran a good campaign, which was exhausting, busy, and informative. You earned 13,750 votes and were a close fourth in the elections. Thank you for being a team leader with all that worked with you in the city treasurer's office and visitors to your office. Thank you for your innovative ideas while in the treasurer's office. You were firm in your desire to stay on budget and to educate others, including city departments and our leaders, with your knowledge of how budgets work. In 2023, with a $2.4 million budget, you even returned $222,000 back to the city. Thank you for listening to the residents of Roanoke and helping to improve the city's technology uses so that we could understand how our taxes were derived and used. Thank you for taking your job seriously. I know that you will take a place on City Council seriously and preserve city funds and help residents, leaders, and City Council members be conservative with our funds into the Treasury. Thank you for questioning the concept of affordable housing in current business conditions, reminding us that there are other considerations and costs in each neighborhood, like additional costs for schools, infrastructures, road maintenance, costs for an overcrowded city, or sanitary systems, that overcrowding and taxes might do away with the concept of affordable housing. Thank you for reminding us that every neighborhood has its own individual needs and descriptions. Thank you for being forward-thinking with the best interests of our city as a whole in mind and being independent in your thoughts. We, the citizens and leaders of our loved city and individual neighbors, have an important opportunity given graciously to us by Evelyn Powers, who is willing to step up again and serve her and our city by joining Roanoke City Council. Let's not squander the amazing chance to have a knowledgeable, dedicated, serious, kind, independent member on the Roanoke City Council. I ask that City Council vote for Evelyn Powers. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, City Council. My name is Bridget Kelly Deering. I'm from the Southeast District of Roanoke. I live at 1331 Hamilton Terrace, Southeast. A little nervous, but...
It's all right. Take your time.
I'm here today to urge all City Council members to support Trish Whiteboyd to fill the vacant 2-year term seat on the City Council. Trish has proven experience from her past tenure on the board, but what may be more important is her extensive ties with the community. Trish volunteers all over the city. I would go so far as to venture that there's not one thing going on that affects Roanoke and its citizens that Trish doesn't attend. It's an exemplary practice which greatly benefits the council. She almost is impossible to keep up with. Believe me, I've tried when working with her on her campaigns. Many here today have spoken about the importance of showing up, and Trish literally shows up over and over again at any event that affects Roanoke because she cares. Trish was a key player and instrumental in some excellent advances happening in Roanoke, like the new Washington Park Pool, the Riverdale development, new housing on Belmont, and the Melrose Plaza development. Trish also traveled to Greenville on her own dime to research EV buses, 2 of which are now scheduled to come to Roanoke. Trish worked extremely hard on making Roanoke the 8-time winner of all American cities. This is quite an accomplishment for Roanoke because it not only encourages tourism, but it also highlights Roanoke as a good place to live and or retire, and it encourages business to move here. Trish is approachable. She gets along with council members. She's a team player who worked efficiently and cooperatively with the last council in conjunction with the city manager, which made remarkable progress, and I would like to see that progress continue. Thank you for your time and your consideration, and please vote for Trish White Boyd to fill the vacancy on Roanoke City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Deering.
Charlotte McCauley and Dixie Huff.
Welcome, Ms. McCauley.
Good afternoon, Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, and Council. Thank you. I urge you to appoint Evelyn Powers to fill the vacant seat on City Council. She has earned a close fourth place by receiving the voters' confidence in her qualifications to serve. In the past, Council has respected the voters' wishes and appointed the person with the next highest number of votes to be appointed to Council. I ask you to follow the same procedure and respect the voters' wishes again and appoint Evelyn Powers. Roanoke City needs someone like her with her outstanding experience and qualifications. She truly has a heart for serving others, having served faithfully many years as city treasurer. She understands how city government works. She's proven to be a good listener, a problem solver, using facts and data. She's experienced in areas of finance and budgeting, which would be a great asset to our city. When she campaigned, she attended many of the neighborhood meetings in order to meet the voters. She understands the concerns of our city and seeks to work together to help solve important issues that the city faces. She has excellent qualifications and has willingly dedicated so many years of her life serving the people of Roanoke, and she desires to continue serving even more as a member of City Council. Please honor the voters' confidence in Evelyn's ability to serve and appoint her to City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Dixie Huff. I've been a resident of Roanoke City for the past 25 years. I respectfully request that Evelyn Powers be chosen to fill the vacant council seat. She campaigned and ran for city council. She received over 13,000 votes, making her the fourth largest vote getter in this past Roanoke City election. The citizens of Roanoke need balanced political representation, and Ms. Powers has experience of 43 years working for the city, the last 20 years as city treasurer. Ms. Powers' interests and priorities for Roanoke City are vast and transparent. She has a proven track record as a team player and is a known asset to Roanoke City. I recently re-listened to an interview Ms. Powers gave during her campaign describing the budget she managed for the Treasurer's Department and how she managed it like a checkbook balance sheet. In the majority of her years, 20 years as city treasurer, she was able to give money back to the city from her budget. I was also interested in her ideas of forming a citizens council to work with Roanoke City on issues that present changes to help get information out to community neighborhoods to be better understood. I voted for Evelyn Powers for city council in the past election. I thought she ran a great campaign. She certainly is a familiar name to me with her years of experience with the city, and she received from voters, again, the fourth largest volume of votes. I would like to see her appointed to this open seat because I think she has the experience in city government and will be an asset to Roanoke City citizens and to Roanoke City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today.
Thank you so much.
John DeLauro and John Parker.
Good afternoon, City Council. My name is John DeLauro. My family moved here in 1968 from Philadelphia. We own a family automotive repair business for the last 50 years. I married a local girl who's very beautiful, by the way, and we've raised our children here. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of people in my working years that have settled in Roanoke simply because they have traveled here at one time or another and seen such a beautiful area it was. I mean, we're like the halfway point between New York and Atlanta, so we get some overnight travelers. And they came here to reside and raise their family. I'm here to support Evelyn Powers' vote today. With her experience and expertise, we feel like she will help keep the city of Roanoke great and even make it greater. At the end of the day, when all the dust settles and you lay down to go to sleep at night, it's really all about keeping our area beautiful, safe, a great place to live, and a great place to raise our children and our grandchildren. We feel like Evelyn Powers, working with City Council, will help that. We ask for your support and vote. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council. My name is John Parker, and I live in Southwest, and I'm here to support Evelyn. Reason being her experience and her dedication to the city of Roanoke for many, many years. In addition, she showed up at our community meetings, and she articulated her position and what she planned to do. However, she came in fourth, and that's the way elections go. But now you have a vacancy, and in my opinion, to bypass her and the 13,000 residents of Roanoke that voted for her and appoint someone that hasn't had the motivation to run for the office, I think is not a very equitable thing to do to the voters of Roanoke. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sylvia King and Janet Delaney Mans.
Welcome, Ms. King.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year, because this is my first time being in the City Council for this year, 2025. Congratulations once again, Mayor Cobbs, Vice Mayor McGuire, and all the new and old council members and the new city manager. We welcome Ms. Turner into the city of Roanoke and our co-city managers. I'm here to talk about what I decree and declare in November of 2024. And that was that we would do greater work, shall we do, in the city of Roanoke in 2025 and moving forward. Okay? I'm a member of the fivefold ministry and a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm an advocate. I'm a part of Bragg's organization and Friends of Washington Park. But I'm here to talk about we the people. As you can see that we the people are the voters who has risen up and made a stand to say who they voted for that should take this vacancy in the city council. Okay? And the voters have spoken, and they say, who should be the next city council member? Okay? It should be the fourth person elected by the people. Okay? And this is what the decree and declare is about. It's not the formal or the old, because the formal and the old, you had your opportunity to make Roanoke City great. So there is a new move in Roanoke City Council. We got all the majority of fresh faces to do a new work. And I'll leave this scripture with you. Isaiah 43 and 18 and 19 say, remember ye not the former things. We can't go back and look back and say what we did, because we have some things that is incomplete from 2024 that we need to do. Example, Evans Springs, we need to get that together. There's Evans House, and some bus things that we need to do also. Okay, so going forward, behold, it says, I would do a new thing. Now it shall spring up. Shall you not know it? What you should know is what the people, the voters have spoken, is that what is right is that fourth person that the voters have voted for the city council, and her name is what? And the voters have spoken. Let there be a blessing in reading this word, and the new vacancy will be Evelyn Powers, okay?
Thank you.
Power of the Lord
Welcome.
be with all of you. Many of you, I have watched you walk and talk, and I've been blessed to stand here. Many of you say, I've made up my mind, but change won't come. But I also know that I'm looking at, and I ask you to close your eyes so you hear my voice and not just see who I am standing. I'm looking forward to the factor that out of your honor, your respect, and your love for the job that you voted to do. You were voted in to do a specific job. I stand here in support of Evelyn Powers simply because I, as an old person, was laying in my bed sick, and my neighbors who are disabled and unable to get out ask me, if you can get up, go down there and speak for what the voters have requested. Every last one of you, I love and honor and respect. Anybody that would take on your job, I wouldn't have it, because you got too many people to answer to. The job I have is a living voice for myself and for others who believe that justice, peace, and equality exist because you stand on the laws that you have stood up and said that you would honor. Evelyn Powers was voted on. I have nothing against Trish White. I think she's very honorable. But what I love about Evelyn Powers, I've been on disability since 1985. Had it not been for her and Sherman Holland, I would have never known that as a disabled citizen, my taxes should have been frozen. Whenever I've called her office for anything, she always called you back. I can't say that for the other persons that you all might have decided you want on city council. Now they tell me that this is one of those decisions that you have the discretion of making. But look at me and look around you. Who voted on you? We voted, we the people. Hear our voice and act accordingly. Not because of what you think is right, because I always think I'm right, but not because of that, but because you speak for me and the people that put you in this awesome position. And I'm so honored to be here and meet all of you today, because y'all know what, y'all right good looking. I might decide I'm kin to.
Thank you, Dr. Manns.
Leonida Cutright and Adam Mastrangelo.
Welcome.
Hi there, good afternoon. My name is Leonida Cutright. I do reside at 5527 Medmont Circle, and I am here to express my support for Evelyn Powers to fill the vacant position in City Council. Many folks have already spoken. I'm not sure I have too much anything new to add, but here goes. Evelyn has been the long-term city treasurer for 21 years and 43 years in the Roanoke government. Treasurers are fact and data-driven, all excellent and essential qualities in this age of alternative facts and fake news. We need responsible individuals who will speak to the truth. Her intimate knowledge of city finances makes her an excellent resource and candidate for sound fiscal decision-making in the upcoming years. She has been visible in neighborhood association meetings, listening to the needs and concerns of Roanoke City citizens. Again, a key component of the roles that all of you play. With no disrespect to the other two candidates, all the candidates have their own unique strengths and experiences, and no doubt have the ability to perform in this role, but they made the choice not to run, whereas Evelyn Powers did make that choice. She was, as other people have acknowledged, the fourth highest vote getter. And remember, we do live in a democracy so that the people can decide, as others have spoken to. We live in a democracy, I guess, at least for now, and the people's voice should be respected in this situation. Evelyn can commit to this position to fully engage on the issues, and I fully support her selection to fill the vacant position. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to address Roanoke City Council. I'm Adam Mastrangelo. I live at 3528 Windsor Oak Circle, and I'm the president of the Greater Direly Neighborhood Association. However, today I'm speaking to you as a resident of the city of Roanoke. Today I'd like to request that City Council take advantage of a rare opportunity regarding the vacant seat created in the recent election by appointing Evelyn Powers. Going into this election, the citizens of Roanoke City and the candidates themselves wanted the council to address several issues, including restoring trust in the community, finance, as evidenced by the city's need for a larger increase in the real estate tax assessment, and inclusivity, that is, including everyone. As has been raised by others, a new mayor, 4 new council members, a new city manager, is a unique situation which should be utilized effectively. By appointing Evelyn Powers, you address all 3 items mentioned above: trust, finance, and inclusivity. By appointing Evelyn Powers, who was the 4th place candidate in the November election, you show the voters, the community, that you've heard them. This will go a long way to build trust in our elected officials. Additionally, Evelyn Powers has worked at City Hall for over 40 years, was elected treasurer for the last 20 years, and prior to that, was in the city's auditing department. This experience and knowledge is what's needed to help City Council quickly right the fiscal ship and bring some stability to this new government. Lastly, Evelyn Powers' non-party affiliation and years of experience demonstrates the inclusivity that you want in Roanoke City and its council. Recently, this council presented the Greater Direly Neighborhood Association with a Neighborhood Advocates Communications Award. We were very pleased to be presented an award by this City Council, and I'm pleased by the direction this council has taken. You have an opportunity to continue to build something that Roanoke City has needed for many years. Please don't miss out on the occasion. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much.
Sydney Futch and Dr. Jeanette Delaney Mans.
Good afternoon. My name is Sidney Fuchs, and I'm here to speak to this council on behalf of the candidacy of Rabbi Kathy Cohn, and I thank you for that opportunity. I'm originally from up north. I visited here a few years ago, and among the first people I met down here was Rabbi Cohn, and I immediately sensed her compassion for other people and her involvement in this community as a religious leader and also a member of the community. As such, she has forged alliances with other religious institutions and has cooperated on various programs. She's been very active in the community. Not going to take the time to go through all the degrees she's earned, including her doctorate, but I will speak about her actions and participation in various commissions that answer directly to this council. With regard to affordable housing, she's willing to let prior zoning determinations remain untouched. That will help to increase the amount of housing available. She's especially noted for her work on the Gun Violence Commission, and she would bring to the problem of drug overdose deaths the same model and same type of cure that worked with the Gun Violence Commission. These are substantive matters. Now, during this session this afternoon, I have heard other people shouting in unison the name of another candidate. I would urge this council not to confuse volume with substance. Roanoke cannot stand still. Roanoke must grow. And with affordable housing, with drug overdose prevention, and with gun violence reduction, Roanoke will grow. Rabbi Cohn has already convinced one northerner to relocate here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Let me humbly apologize that my name was put there more than once. I'm not a technology astute person, so I probably dumped it in there more than just the twice. Okay. But all I can say is everybody but Evelyn stand up.
Madam Clerk, is that everyone that we...
No.
We have more to go?
Yes, we
Okay.
have more to go. Morris Lusk and Dwayne Howard.
Oh, here he comes. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Morris Lusk. I've been a citizen of Roanoke since 1967. I've known Trish for well over 30 years. When I first met Trish, we were both single parents and immediately bonded together for that fact because of the trials and tribulations of being a single parent. Trish has served this council, served this city over many years without thinking of her own life, and gave the city her life. So I recommend you to vote for her again. Her experience in dealing with matters behind doors is without doubt really needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lusk. Welcome, Mr. Howard.
Good afternoon. I've been speaking before City Council for probably about 30 years. I always felt I was before a firing squad every time I did. And I would like to welcome this youngster City Council before us. You might very well be the youngest council that we've had. I don't know. But you all lost a great deal of experience with the retirement of Sherman Lee and Stephanie Moon, who was with the city, I believe, over 40 years, like Evelyn. We need Evelyn on city council because of her decades of service And the experience that she can bring to you all in the history, that when subjects come up, that you're not doomed to repeat mistakes of the past. And as everyone is saying, we voted for her. She got over 13,000 votes, and she deserves to be up there, not only working with you all, but helping you with historical issues that may not, be things go wrong in the past. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bob Clement and Paulette Lawson.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. It's nice to be here again. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, our new city manager, welcome. Our city clerk, good to see you. Good to see you. City Attorney, Mr. Spencer, thank you for letting me have this opportunity. I'm here to promote your all's appointment of Evelyn Powers. According to Cardinal News in December of 2023, in advance of our city's most recent city council election, Trish White Boyd announced, quote, "I will not be seeking any public office," end quote. Today, she, Kathy Cohen, and Evelyn Powers are all seeking public office by your appointment to fill a vacant seat on Roanoke City Council. In 2016, City Council faced a similar decision and set a precedent when they appointed Ms. White Boyd to fill the council seat vacated by John Garland. As I was also vying for this position, and I believe Peter was as well, a short time following her appointment, I was told by several council members that since White Boyd had participated in the recent election campaign, an effort that I had chosen not to undertake, and had finished behind Garland, that it was only fitting and right that council appoint her to complete Mr. Garland's term. So here we are again, and following that precedent council set in 2016, it is only fitting and right that council appoint Evelyn Powers to fill the vacant council seat, for she would be serving today if 4 seats had been available rather than 3. Both White Boyd and Cohen made the choice and decision not to seek this office in 2024, and just as I had in 2016, and therefore neither of these individuals should be handed a seat on City Council when they both chose not to go before the citizens of Roanoke to seek their support. During her 43 years of service for Roanoke citizens, Evelyn Powers has continually demonstrated and proven through her actions the success of her collaborative spirit, her communication skills, and her love for our city. Appointing anyone else to fill this vacant seat, other than with Evelyn, would be a slap in the face to Roanoke voters, as you would be demonstrating by your actions that you have greater concern about your own personal politics and supporting Roanoke voters' approval of a candidate they recently chose to represent them on City Council. Even Democrat Council Folsom supported her campaign, even though she ran as an independent. I urge you to do the right thing for Roanoke citizens who, by their votes, have demonstrated their support for Evelyn Powers to serve them on City Council, by your votes to appoint her to this vacant seat. Do the right thing for your constituents because it's the right thing to do, for you, for them, and for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm Paulette Lawson. I've been a lifelong resident of the Valley and a resident of Roanoke City for almost 40 years. So I have written a lot of checks to Evelyn Powers. But I did not have the opportunity to know Evelyn until this past fall, when Evelyn was putting in the hard work of running a campaign and being down at the early voting precinct, or the central voting precinct, I think is more technically correct. Anyway, you know, the candidates all come down and spend a lot of time on that parking lot, greeting the voters as they come through, explaining their position, asking for their vote. I was a volunteer. I was not there for Evelyn. Evelyn was there. I saw her doing all the hard work. I heard her. I talked with her. You know that even though we may not be on exactly the same team, when you get down on that lot, hour after hour, day after day, week after week, you have a lot of interaction. And I was able to interact personally with Evelyn and get to know her qualifications, which you've all been made aware of numerous times today. And I got to know her as a person. We discussed a lot of issues and also personal things. And she just really made me feel a lot of respect for her, not only in her qualifications, her common sense, the balance that she would bring to council in budgetary matters that are extremely important to people in the city right now. But just her common sense approach and her love of Roanoke and Roanoke's people. So I would ask that you consider all the work that she put in. You all know quite well the time, the financial resources, the effort that goes into a campaign. I would ask you to consider the fact that she did that and that she did garner almost 14,000 votes. At the end of the day, people in Roanoke just want to feel that they have been heard. And there was a lot of discussion about transparency and listening to the people. So I'm asking you, please, listen to the people today. Listen to the almost 14,000 voices that have spoken prior to any of us who spoke today. And please appoint Evelyn Powers to council. I think she's earned that seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the last citizen to speak is Jeff Cutright under this item.
Welcome.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the opportunity of letting me speak. Congratulations to Mr. Mayor Cobb and Vice Mayor McGuire and the new city council members. It's good to see you here, and congratulations on your win. I'd like to welcome the city manager. I'm going to take a minute to not talk about the candidate, but our interaction with the Roanoke City Police. You know, we live close to a hospital, and every once in a while, somebody gets lost. And the Roanoke City Police Department does a great job in handling that situation. So pass that along. As you've heard, you know, a lot of people have had a lot of great things to say about Evelyn Powers, and I would like to add my support for her as a candidate for all the reasons mentioned before me, and I think we all are seeing the chaos in north of us in Washington, D.C., and along with the Parrot there in Richmond. And I think there may be some budgetary challenges created by that turmoil, as we've already seen this week. So having somebody with intricate knowledge of the budget and, you know, where the money comes from and where it's going is probably going to be very helpful, maybe for the next short time. So that's really it. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. That's it. We're going to take a 5-minute recess, and we'll resume in 5 minutes. to call council meeting back into session and welcome everybody back. Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by members of the council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of the items unless an item is requested or desired to be removed from the consent agenda, and if so, we'll consider it separately. In lieu of that, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Move the consent agenda.
Second.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the consent agenda is adopted. Our next item is a public hearing to receive views of citizens regarding the appointment of a Roanoke City School Board trustee to an expired term of office ending June 30th, 2026. The candidate is Christopher Link, who I believe is here today. If you'd like to just stand so people can see who you are. Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing, and Madam Clerk, I believe we have a few citizens signed up to speak on
Yes, we do.
at this point. Okay, if you'll
We have-
invite them up, you'll have 3 minutes each.
All right. We have 3 speakers, so I'll call all of your names. Benjamin Jones, Emily Casey, and David Howell.
Welcome.
Hey guys, good afternoon, council members, mayor, vice mayor, and city manager. It's good to see all of you. It's a pleasure and a privilege to speak before you guys about the qualifications of Christopher Link for the Roanoke City School Board trustee. I met Christopher Link around 10 years ago helping a mutual friend move out of an apartment into a home. I found him to be funny, engaging, and very smart. He is unhesitant in the service to friends, family, and neighbors in need. Over the past decade, I've learned that Christopher Link is a good man, one of the best men I have ever known. He is brilliant, he is kind, curious, compassionate, highly responsible, and detail-oriented. He is a great dad of a precocious little girl who attends Roanoke City Public Schools. He is committed to empathy for her experience of growing up in present-day America, raising a compassionate, confident, successful child connected to her communities and equipped to cope with life and to help others. He lives within walking distance of 3 or 4 public schools that his daughter will certainly attend in her life. He is the supportive spouse of an inspiring executive pastor at Second Presbyterian Church, also in Roanoke City. He also has occasional audio engineering and Sunday school duties as assigned. He is a product of public school himself. He graduated from a different Patrick Henry High School in the Richmond area. He has lived experience of the benefits and struggles of a Virginia public education. He has a bachelor's and a master's in engineering from Virginia Tech, the easy stuff. He has a career keeping people safe from gravity. He is interested in how systems work, learning before exploring changes or improvements. He loves Virginia. He loves our unique cultural histories, plural. He loves the outdoors. He is an Eagle Scout. He also is a scout leader in a local troop. He loves finding and sharing obscure recipes and trade skills. He introduced all of us to Dan Doodle, the authentic Virginia ham that has to be soaked in Dr. Pepper before you cook it. He listens for lost or silenced voices in Virginia's story. He is a born storyteller in the Southern tradition of the Atlanta columnist Louis Grizzard. He is hilarious, poignant, and memorable. He is a great listener, a great team player. He is a great friend with a large circle of local families who also have school-age children attending Roanoke City Public Schools. He is a natural leader. He is a member of the Riley Court Neighborhood Association and serves on that association regularly. He is a natural gatherer of fellowship. He has a neighborhood reading, sporting, and gaming club. He leads an annual church fishing, with quotes, trip. He hosts a highly anticipated neighborhood block party every fall with an old family Virginia Brunswick stew recipe that he cooks in an outdoor cauldron starting that morning before dawn. He loves and invests in his community. I say all that to make sure you guys know that Chris has skin in the public school game. It matters to him. He has considerable skills to offer. He has an intellect and heart for public service, and he has a supportive community behind him. Thank you for this time.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Ms. Casey.
Hi, thank you. My name is Emily Casey, and I am the current Neighborhood Association President for the Raleighport Neighborhood Association. I am here today to express my support for the appointment of Chris Link to the Roanoke City School Board. I met Chris when I joined the RCNA board shortly after we moved to Roanoke, and have had the pleasure of serving with him on that board since 2018. During his tenure on the board, of which he served 2 terms as president, Chris said several times to me that he knew it was up to us to step up and serve our community if we wanted to continue to make it better. He has shown by example, he has stepped up, and he will continue to do so if he is selected to serve on our school board. Chris's dedication to our city is evidenced through his years of service on our neighborhood board, through his service as a troop leader for his daughter's scout troop, and his service with various positions he has held at his church. Chris will work to benefit and improve our public school system as he has worked to benefit and improve our neighborhood and community. I do hope you vote to place him on our city school board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And welcome back.
It's been a long meeting, but I'm still David Howell, and thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Chris Link. Some of you may remember, a few months ago, I was standing here applying to be a member of the school board, and when this vacancy happened, I intended to apply again. Now, but in the last month or so, I was talking to Chris at church. We are co-teachers of the leadership team for Sunday school class at church. And Chris mentioned that he was going to apply. And just the enthusiasm and excitement that he brought to the task, which he brings to all of life, actually, I thought, I don't need to apply. Chris will be a great school board member. You've heard about his background and his education. I would think, not knowing anything about engineering, but although my brother is an engineer, that having that background on planning and engineering would be a great help on the school board. What I can speak to is that just the sort of innate curiosity that Chris seems to exhibit. Almost every institution of education, I should say, or school system says something about having lifelong learning as one of the goals that they want to inculcate in their students and families. And Chris just exhibits and enthuses lifelong learning. This class is a remarkable class. It touches some really challenging subjects through the years. Christian nationalism, feminist theology, liberation theology, relationships between blacks and whites. And Chris was there asking questions not to sort of, so he can dominate and as an expression of power, but asking questions so that he can understand. Asking questions so, not to sort of push away, but asking questions to create community and include. And that's the sort of person I want on school board. He asks really good questions. And we need leaders on the school board that are willing to ask questions, that are willing to challenge what the sort of current fads are and thinking, but more importantly, ask questions and being willing to stand up to people and support our students and our teachers and our schools and communities as public education becomes a part of a culture war again. Chris will do that. He'll do it with a great deal of integrity and commitment and enthusiasm, and I hope that you appoint him because he'll be a great member. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more speakers on this? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing and ask if we have any questions or comments by council. Okay. I do want to invite Mr. Link to stick around for the remainder of this meeting, if you're able to do that. And again, thank all of those citizens who came to speak on Mr. Link's behalf this afternoon. We're going to move on now to reports of city officers and the city manager. And we do have one briefing this afternoon, our 2024 monthly financial and budget report. Ms. Turner, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Cobb. Mayor Cobb and Vice Mayor McGuire and members of council. The city's finance director, Margaret Lindsay, will present the December 2024 monthly financial and budget report.
my sheriff's deputy's head. Thank you, that kept me where I needed to go. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, members of council, and Ms. Turner. I do have our December 6-month information for you. We are slightly off cycle, that's okay. I've had some very busy council meetings and agendas, so today I will present December, and at the February 18th meeting, I will present January, and then we're back to our normal schedule of second meeting of each month. Oops. Yeah, thank you. Wrong button. There you go. Apologize, this is very small to see, but for any of our viewers at home or on Facebook, this is attached to the agenda, and it is much larger and easier to read. This is our revenue as we generally present, and since we had our first budget presentation this morning that spoke about revenues, I did want to spend a minute or so, a little more than maybe normal, on what our chart does show. So our largest, as was spoken this morning, general property taxes category, real estate is and will likely be our largest revenue source for the general fund. Through 6 months, we are sitting just over $65 million, so about 53% of what we budgeted for fiscal '25. That is a 10% increase over what we had in revenue for fiscal '24. Some of that, though, I would counsel would be timing. So if I had a delinquent payment in '25 I did not have in '24, maybe I got caught up. And so it's not solely the fact that assessments may be more in '25, although I'm certain there are a number which were and are. It's also a little bit of just when taxpayers that didn't pay timely choose to be able to get the delinquencies caught up. And I did want to just bring that a little bit to attention. Our other largest property tax item is personal property tax. And again, as Ms. Catron mentioned this morning, the timing of that billing cycle means that right now and through the next several months, we will see just nominal amounts of personal property tax. It is billed once a year, late April, mid to late April, with a May 31st due date. So between personal property tax and the motor vehicle licenses, formerly known as decal fee, that all pretty much hits in about 6 weeks' time in late spring. Lastly, on this sheet, I wanted just to speak about sales tax. That's something else that we carefully watch. We know we've had a good bit of inflation, so am I spending more of my dollars on items that are sales taxed to have additional items, or are the price of what I have to spend on gone up? Either way, we are about 6% of an increase in fiscal '25 over where we stood at December 31st, 2023. That's it's not out of the realm of where the state is tracking. Some areas, of course, more or less than others. So at this point, I don't share any concerns. I would certainly mention with where we are running in our overall largest tax items. Lastly, I do want to point out that was mentioned this morning as well, our revenue from the use of money and property. So the vast majority of that is interest earnings, and those are running very strong for this year. Fiscal '25 on a very conservative budget, which is not inappropriate at all. We are just under $760,000 in excess of budget for our interest earnings, and that's a nice place to have. We fully expect there to be some changes in interest rates that will impact this, maybe not as immediately in fiscal '25 as we expected, but certainly over the course of time, and we will monitor that. For expenditure.
Do you have a question, Mr. Bollison?
It might be just a format change, but I just wanted to know, on the side we have percent budget achieved,
Yes.
We used to normally have, like, what's the goal of the budget at that time as well? Is there a way to kind of, I guess, have that comparison, or is it just better to do this because of different times that taxes come out?
We can certainly revert to the other or have both. What I found with revenues, that percent of budget is just 12 divided by however many number of months. And so, especially with personal property, you're going to be way out of sync. So this is, where is it at this point versus budget? Whereas on, I believe this is correct, here is that's what it used to be.
Yeah.
And so for expenditures, even those are not all pro rata. They approximate a little better. So I did leave that, but I'm more than happy to do both, if that would be at all helpful.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We'll see. I just wanted to know what the change was, so that I
Certainly.
can make sure I'm reading it right.
That was probably a Margaret Lindsay choice, and we can certainly consider otherwise, for sure. My only expenditure comment to you all today is that there are no outliers or strangeness that would cause me to want to bring to your attention. We are tracking really pretty close to a 50% at 6 months. I am going to look at, and I can bring to your attention at the next meeting, what is driving judicial administration to be a little higher. I did look at that a little bit earlier today and didn't see any large matters. It may be some timing of payments that hit in the first 6 months that maybe hit in January last year or something like that, but I will track that down. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have and certainly make a note and bring back detail.
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay. Any other follow-up questions?
You took mine.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll move now to our items recommended for action. Item A is the acceptance and appropriation of the Technical Rescue Team Grant for the Department of Fire-EMS, and we do have an ordinance, and so I'll need a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing acceptance of the 2024 Virginia Department of Emergency Management State Homeland Security Program Grant Technical Rescue Team to the city from the Virginia Department of Emergency Management, authorizing the city of Roanoke and Roanoke Fire-EMS to serve as the fiscal agents for the distribution of the grant funds, authorizing the city manager or designee to execute and file appropriate documents to obtain such funds, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. Ms. Turner, do you have anything to add to that?
Just a couple. This grant supports the Virginia Department of Emergency Management Region 6 Technical Rescue Team, which is comprised of members from the Salem Fire-EMS, Roanoke County Fire and Rescue Department, and the City of Roanoke Fire-EMS Department. The funding for this program is an annual allotment and is split between the 3 jurisdictions to purchase equipment and to provide training for our team members. Chief Hoback is here if you have any additional questions.
Thank you, Chief, for being here. Any questions from council? All right, then I think we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the ordinance passes. Item B is the acceptance and appropriation of the HUD Continuum of Care COC Grant Award for COC planning. There is one measure and ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and second.
Move the ordinance. Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing acceptance of the FY 2023 U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Continuum of Care Planning Grant to the City of Roanoke in the amount of $108,972, authorizing the City of Roanoke to serve as the fiscal agent for the distribution of such funds, authorizing execution of any required documents on behalf of the city, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. Ms. Turner, anything to add to that?
Just a couple comments. The HUD COC, or the Continuum of Care Grant, which in fact the next three items, this item included the next two items, deal specifically with that grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Development. So this particular is for our COC planning grant, and it helps provide planning, monitoring, and evaluation services for the COC and the Blue Ridge Interagency Council on Homelessness, which serves as our COC and the governing board as required by HUD. This project will engage the COC and what we call, is it Birch?
Brick.
Okay. In strategic planning and business plan updates to increase the effectiveness in the coordinated service system for our homeless population. And Mr. Matt Cruikshank is here if you have any questions.
Matt, thank you for being here. Our Human Services Coordinator also supervises our homeless assistance team. And BRIC, BRICH, is the Blue Ridge Interagency Council on Homelessness, and they're kind of the strategic executive team for the continuum of care. So any questions? All right, I believe we are ready to vote then, Madam Clerk.
All right. Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the ordinance passes. Item C is the acceptance and appropriation of the HUD Continuum of Care Grant Award for a Coordinated Assessment System. There is one measure, an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and a second.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing acceptance of the FY 2023 U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Continuum of Care Coordinated Assessment System Grant Award to the City of Roanoke in the amount of $49,070 upon certain terms and conditions, authorizing the City of Roanoke to be the fiscal agent for the distribution of the grant proceeds, authorizing the city manager to execute any necessary documents necessary to accept such grant, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. Any further comments?
I do.
All right.
The Coordinated Assessment System grant collaborates with all HUD COC funded projects in the community by managing the community's prioritization list for housing resources, conducting coordinated entry assessments, eligibility screenings, and coordinated financial assistance and referrals to housing programs. These grant funds also fund a full-time staff person. In-kind matching funds are provided through a portion of the city's Human Services Administrator's salary for oversight of the project team.
Thank you. Any questions from council members? All right. Then, Madam Clerk, we are ready for the roll call.
All right. Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the ordinance passes. Item D is the acceptance and appropriation of the HUD Continuum of Care Grant Award for the Homeless Assistance Team. We have an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and a second.
Move the ordinance. Second.
Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing acceptance of the FY 2023 HUD Continuum of Care Grant Award to the City of Roanoke on behalf of the Department of Social Services Homeless Assistance Team from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in the amount of $140,422 upon certain terms and conditions, authorizing execution of any required documentation on behalf of the city, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. Ms. Turner.
Through contacts and engagement, the Homeless Assistance Team staff provides case management services, including agency referrals, security deposit assistance, transportation, and assistance with obtaining identification documents. This grant is renewal funding from HUD and requires a local match in the amount of $54,000, which has been identified in our budget.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Well, yeah, Mr. Volleson?
I just wanted to say thank you to the homeless assistance team last year, bringing in over 300, or getting 300-plus people housed is no small order, and we hope that that number increases. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would just echo, too, to extend our thanks to the Continuum of Care and all of the partners that work throughout the city to connect people with the resources they need. Thank you. All right, I believe we're ready for the roll call.
Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones.
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the ordinance passes. Item D is the acceptance and appropriation of kinship support funds from the Virginia Department of Social Services. We have an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and a second.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of kinship support funds from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Social Services to the City of Roanoke on behalf of the City of Roanoke Department of Social Services, authorizing execution of any required documentation on behalf of the city required to accept such funding, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. Ms. Turner?
Kinship care is the placement of a child in an approved foster home where the caregivers are related to the child. Kinship care support funds are incentive funds provided by the Virginia Department of Social Services to the local Department of Social Services to support kinship care placement with material and household items needed to ensure and promote placement. Recently, the agency used kinship care support funds to assist a relative in repairing their homes so that their home could become approved. And we do have our Director of Social Services, Gwen Coleman, here if you have any questions.
Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Coleman. It's good to see you. Are there any questions or comments by council? All right. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the ordinance passes. Item F is the acceptance and appropriation of grant funds from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Historic Resources for the Virginia Museum of Transportation. And we do have an ordinance, and I need a motion and a second, please.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph? An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of the FY24-2025 Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Historic Resources Award for funds in the total amount of $500,000 for the Virginia Museum of Transportation, authorizing the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding among Virginia Department of Historic Resources, Virginia Museum of Transportation, and the City of Roanoke, authorizing the city manager to file appropriate documents to obtain such funds, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I believe we have some speakers.
Yes.
And I'd like to invite them up this time before we have any discussion from council.
All right.
So if you'll just call them up individually.
Sure. Dennis Smith.
Welcome.
I expected to be here first because I just learned about this a couple of days ago about money spent for the Transportation Museum. I'm not sure exactly if you're trying to use it for something else other than the museum?
No.
Okay. Only thing is I would like to thank you for accepting the money and the museum. I'm actually from Christiansburg, but my life is tied up in Roanoke because I'm president of the International Plastic Modeler Society that meets at the Civic Center, not the Transportation Museum. I also volunteer for the MDA car show that goes every year. The Transportation Museum, I want to see it grow. I consider myself partially a citizen of Roanoke because I'm so intertwined with Roanoke. And I'm not sure if there's any argument as far as, the money and stuff like that, but I would like to see the Transportation Museum grow. We need as many things that we can have to entice people to come and visit Roanoke, and transportation is one of them. The MDA Car Show is another thing, and one other thing that I'll tell you is this has nothing to do with the Transportation Museum, except it does have to do with the MDA Car Show and events that are at the Civic Center. I would like to see somebody do a feasibility study on putting a parking garage at the Civic Center, because our shows that we have there, it requires people to travel downtown, ride the bus to get to the event, and when you do that, you eliminate a lot of people because they won't take the time to get on the bus, get out of their car, ride the bus up to the Civic Center. So if you would maybe consider building a multi-level garage there, it would greatly help the city, the Civic Center, and the events there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate you being here today.
Dennis Smith? That was you? Okay, I'm so sorry. Timothy Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I'd like to echo what Dennis Smith said about supporting the Virginia Transportation Museum. About 32 years ago, a group of guys got together and formed the International Plastic Modelers Society Roanoke chapter, and for about 10 years, we met at the center in the square on the 6th floor, but I believe that's a restaurant now. So, the Transportation Museum was gracious enough to put us up in the Transportation Museum conference room, and we've been meeting there for about 25 years now. So I think it's important that we continue to support museums, especially hands-on museums for kids, because I think the social media and cell phones and stuff has taken away a kid's ability to see things full size and see things as they really were, like the 611 or airplanes or ships, and also giving our club the ability to promote the plastic model hobby. It's a very clean hobby, keeps kids off the streets, and I'd just like to say I really support the Transportation Museum and what they do, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming today.
Darnell Wood.
Welcome, Mr. Woods.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, and some new faces on council. Wasn't here last time I spoke. And also congratulations on your new appointment. Thank you for being, and welcome to the city of Roanoke. Some of you all may know me already. I'm Darnell Wood, longtime resident, born and raised in Roanoke, Virginia. I used to walk from 13th Street Southwest to the old Transportation Museum when I was at Walzena Park. Every time you cross the old Walzena Bridge, you can see the rocket top on top of it. Well, since that time, the Transportation Museum has now moved not too far from here, 303 Norfolk Avenue. The Norfolk and Western Railway, and as I looked here, I noticed on the seal, transportation is right on the city of seal of Roanoke. The Norfolk Western Railway, along with many predecessor railroads, helped build Roanoke into the all-American city that it is today. Also, countless children educated in Roanoke and surrounding school systems have learned about the transportation industry through the Virginia Museum of Transportation. I was one of those school kids. who visited the museum over 50-plus years ago. And I fell in love with the transportation industry, and specifically railroads. Upon my graduation from Virginia State University, I returned to Roanoke and was gainfully employed by Norfolk and Western Railway, then now it's Norfolk Southern Corporation. I'm also a member of the Norfolk and Western Norfolk Southern African American Heritage Group, which, by the way, the Virginia Museum of Transportation gives us a monthly place to stay and have our meetings, and also we do an annual event there. They also provided a area within the Virginia Museum of Transportation where the African American railroaders from Roanoke and surrounding areas also have a display. If you ever get a chance to visit, please do so. Here we are looking at Black History Month. You should visit that particular location in the museum. Also, the Virginia Museum of Transportation, I was fortunate to have a lady who came over from another country email me on Facebook about the Virginia Museum of Transportation. She went down there and saw it. So it's not only a magnificent museum, but it also brings tourists from the United States and also other countries. It is part of the history in this star city. And I would ask you to please approve the appropriation and grant funds from the Commonwealth of Virginia's Department of Historic Resources for the Museum of Transportation. It is one of the shiniest stars in the city of Roanoke, and I thank you for your time on this day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The last speaker is Dwayne Howard.
Welcome back, Dwayne.
Thank you. Some of you may know I'm a lifelong commercial aviation employee, a collector, dealer, historian. I'm curious about the structure and the safety of the building. I did lose some stuff a number of years ago when there was a water collapse on the roof. I lost some irreplaceable items then. I've lost things in the past, which I won't go into, but I'm wondering, does the museum have a fire alarm system? Does anyone know?
We have representatives from the museum here today that might be able to answer that.
So my concern is the safety, and I was surprised that the amount of the grant, and I think we should do all we can, because I love the museum, and I just hope that everything is done fire safety wise so that we don't lose anything there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? Okay. And I believe we have some folks here from the board. If either of you would like to speak briefly, just to...
Sure. My name's Tom Cox. I'm the Executive Vice President of the Virginia Museum of Transportation, and I am also their chosen spokesperson. So I think this says I have 30 minutes, is it right?
No.
Oh, it's 3. But in lieu of, having a number of people come up and speak on behalf of the Transportation Museum, a few people have elected to speak in deference to the time here, but I would like for anybody who's behind me here in support of the museum, please stand and or raise your hands, please. Thank you all very much. So we are certainly indebted to the General Assembly and the Council for its many, many years of support. And, we fully anticipate that the Transportation Museum is going to continue to be a huge draw for Roanoke. It's going to continue to highlight the diversity of transportation-related history and its past, present, and future. This funding comes, the Virginia Museum of Transportation, unknown to many people, has been the official transportation museum of the state of Virginia for many decades now. Yet, over those many decades, the museum has received very little in the way of funding from the state. We are very appreciative of the recent recognition that, we have a lot of capital improvements and other exhibit improvements to be made to the museum, and the state has recognized that. And we appreciate you guys facilitating the transfer of those funds from DHR to us. And I assure you that they will be used in a most appropriate fashion, again, for mostly capital improvements and some educational program improvements and things of that nature.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you being here. This is, it's in many ways, a formality that the locality has to approve the funding before it can be extended to the agency. So, but we do appreciate all of you being here today and giving us some of your insights into why this museum is so important to our city and to our region. So,
we certainly appreciate the time, and welcome to our city manager and our new council.
Thank you. And at some point in the next couple months, I think it would be great to get an update on the museum and how things are going.
Well, believe it or not, you guys will all have an opportunity at some point to be determined in the near future to come down to the museum. We want to invite each and every one of you to come down and check out the museum and have an opportunity to go through and get an in-depth explanation of, what's going on. We've got a new maritime exhibit. We've only paid cursory, being a railroad town, we've only paid cursory attention to the maritime, and we're opening a new maritime exhibit just in a couple of weeks here on the basis of previous funds received. So anyway, we look forward to seeing all of you guys there, and if ever you have the occasion to be down there, we're glad to entertain you, answer any questions you might have, and thank you once again.
Thank you. Questions or comments from council members? All right. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the ordinance passes. Thank you all so much for being here today. Ms. Turner, I'll turn to you for any additional comments you may have today.
Thank you so much. I have 3 comments this afternoon. First, happy Black History Month. Our Black History Month campaign, in collaboration with Gainsborough Library, Jordan Bell, and Bryce Cobbs, is officially underway. With 15 to 16 planned posts, including 11 photos and 45 videos, we aim to highlight the rich Black history of Roanoke throughout the month of February. Just a couple things that we want to do. Some of the key features are historical markers and walking tours, spotlights on influential Black figures, showcasing local Black artists and their works, then and now perspectives on significant landmarks. All of this information can be found on our website as well. My second comment is the energy team in the Department of Social Services has assisted over 3,000 residents in the city and approved over $1.4 million. The assistance has provided vulnerable residents with safety and well-being. My third and final comment, Police Chief Booth and the HAT Case Management, Matt Cruikshank, will participate in a panel discussion on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025, in Richmond at the Virginia Association of Chiefs of Police Conference. The topic of the panel will be HAT's partnership with the police department and homeless services outreach efforts. City Community Resource Officers Dickerson and Underwood will also be participating on the panel. And Mayor and Council Member, those are my comments.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. We appreciate it. All right. That is all of our items for action. We'll move down through reports of committees. There are none. Unfinished business. There is none. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. We do have a walk-on.
Is council ready for it?
This is regarding appointment of our school board vacancy, which I think we are ready for. give you all a moment to review it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Remember?
Yes, thank you.
I'm not an RCPS employee right now.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Just to make clear in case that was.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Still clear.
Thank you. Good to have clarity. all right, everyone had a chance? Okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna.
Move the resolution.
Yeah, I do need, so we have a resolution, and I need a motion and a second, and then I'm going to ask the clerk to read it in its entirety.
Move the resolution.
All right, Madam Clerk, will you please read the resolution in its entirety?
Yes, I will. A resolution appointing Christopher T. Link to fill the